Has anyone in here ever been white boy arrested? Couple white dudes, yeah? You know what I'm talking about? All right, some of you are confused, and I'll break it down for you, all right? White boy arrested is when you do something illegal, and the cops show up, and they just take you home. Yep. Dude, I grew up in the jackass generation. The cops were just Uber for me. Oh, my God. So much fun. I was skating on NC State's campus. I was having a good day. I'd call my mom, be like, hey, can you come pick me up? She's like, no, dude, I have a job. I'm not doing that. And I'd be like, all right, I'm just going to go pee on something then. It worked. Officer Jackson took me home like every Saturday. It was great. I was a problem kid, okay? I got any former problem kids in here? Okay, so, you know, that's a woo of like, I've been stressing my family out. I have to for sure. My parents are divorced. Was it my fault? Probably, okay? Yeah, I'm 34. I've unpacked a lot of things in therapy. Probably my fault, okay? And that's all right, because I was a problem kid. My parents got divorced when I was like 5 years old. They hated each other. They did not talk at all. But whenever I fucked up, they were like, all right, let's go meet at a fucking Applebee's or something. Like, we gotta figure this kid out. And they would talk, and one year, it was really bad. I think it was like when the first Jackass came out, and I was like, that's my personality now, okay? And they're like, we gotta figure this kid out. So they sent me to Boy Scouts, okay? But this was like pre-internet getting all your information. I think this was like the Ask Jeeves generation, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. And they did not tell me what Boy Scouts was, okay? And they also dropped me off 45 minutes late to the first Boy Scouts meeting. So I'm just in this parking lot, just confused, and there's a bunch of kids dressed like Hitler Youths hanging out. Weird fashion choice, okay? That's all I'm saying. I know they got a don't ask, don't tell policy, but if you Google Hitler Youth and Google Boy Scouts, very close, okay? It's a little weird. And I walk, someone just said, so true. And I'm like, don't know what's going on. I walk up, and they're doing the little flag ceremony, you know, where a kid's playing something on the trumpet really poorly. And this kid trips, and he drops the American flag. I mean, it was like slow motion, like hit the ground. And the guy who I assume was our scoutmaster, because he was the only one 3 feet taller than all of us, just takes off his aviators and looks off into the distance and goes, well, we gotta burn it. And I raised my hand. I was like, that's why I'm here. There's a flag burning merit badge? Sign me up. I got that. And we did. We burned the American flag that night. It was the first thing I did in Boy Scouts. So much fun. This is a 100% true story, by the way. And then I thought like we were going to have a regular night, and then we went into the church to do what I thought was the rest of Boy Scouts, and who was waiting for us? That's right, every cop in North Raleigh. Yeah, because the scoutmaster and his teenage son were selling weed out of the back of the church, dude. Yes, and they did not go peacefully, you guys, okay? There was a high-speed chase involving a PT Cruiser. Absolutely insane. Do you know what that car looks like taking a speed bump at 80 miles an hour? It's like a hippo moving through water, dude. Insane, man. Rightfully so, parents were called. They came and picked us up. My mom was mortified. She's from that generation where you just don't talk about your problems, okay? So she picked me up and she was just like, well, that's Boy Scouts. And she went and dropped me off at my dad's for the night, and he was like, hey, bud, did you have a good time? I was like, dude, Boy Scouts is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I gotta go back. That was the best time. I was like, you guys didn't want me to do this stuff in public, but I can do it in church? Okay. Like, why? They never told me. That's not what Boy Scouts was. And then a few years passed, 9/11 happened. You guys remember that? Legally, we can't forget, so... And I faked sick from school that day. I didn't know what was going on. You know, I thought I was going to stay home and watch The Price is Right. Instead, I watched 2,000 people die, okay? So that was not my ideal version of Plinko, if I'm being honest, okay? And we're watching the news, and I walk into my living room, and you know they're like, well, let's see what's happening in the Middle East. And they come to the Middle East, and they're celebrating, they're burning American flags. And I walk into the living room, and I'm like, oh my God, Boy Scouts went international? That is amazing. gotta get on their pen pal. Can I do that? How do I send them mail? And that's how I got on a no-fly list, so that was fun.